I've helped 50 plus law firms rank #1 on Google in cities all over America. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different law firms in 3 different cities, all ranked #1 using the exact same playbook. By the end of this video, you'll see the same pattern showing up, and you'll know exactly what it takes to be the firm that your city goes to. All right, first up is Cruz Law. They're an immigration law firm who has multiple offices now, but when they first started with me, they had a single office that was headquartered in New Jersey. What's interesting about them is that they weren't a new firm that was trying to break through. They were an established firm, a multi-generation firm actually, that had been relying on referrals and word of mouth for decades. The challenge was building an online presence from scratch on top of an existing brick and mortar business, which is exactly what we did. So we started with a Google business profile centered approach. We completely overhauled it with immigration specific categories, detailed service descriptions for every visa type and immigration process. So things like H-1B, O-1 visas, CR-1 visas, stuff like that. We added professional photos and weekly Google posts with immigration news and case updates. Because as you know, immigration news is a highly contested topic. There's a whole lot going on in the world right now. So we wanted to make sure that the business profile reflected that they're staying on top of all the latest changes. And we optimized this not only in English, but in Spanish as well, because the Hispanic market is one that is generally underserved and where you can get a lot of cases that come through. Next, we also implemented a statewide citation strategy. We didn't just build local citations for Trenton and Ewing, that's just where they were. We wanted a citation network that signaled authority across New Jersey. So we looked at legal directories, immigration specific platforms, bilingual business listings, and state bar association profiles. When we had consistent NAP data across all of them, NAP meaning name, address, phone number, across about 100 directories. We also implemented a systematic review generation process that took them from about 70-ish reviews to the 90 that they are right now at a perfect 5-star rating. Now, in immigration law, where clients typically come from vulnerable backgrounds, earning genuine reviews requires trust and a process that makes it easy and comfortable for clients. So we built out a process for them that was automated with multi-step follow-ups to make sure that the people that say it they're going to leave a review are prompted and reminded numerous times to make sure that they actually end up leaving the review. Because everybody knows, you talk to your client, they say, yep, absolutely, we're going to give you a review, but then they either forget about it, they take forever, they don't do it, whatever it is. You got to make sure that you have a system that is following up with these people so that way you can focus on being an attorney. Additionally, we had a complete on-page and content strategy that was focused towards practice area pages that are targeting high-intent immigration keywords, again, in both English and Spanish. So stuff like immigration law in New Jersey, abogado de immigration. We built service-specific pages for visas, green cards, deportation defense, asylum, family immigration. Every single one was optimized for the specific way that people search for these services. The results here are fantastic. Cruz Gold went from invisible pretty much to #1 across all of New Jersey. Their phone calls before working with me from the Google business profile were about 32 a month. In the first 4 months, we'd tripled them to about 104 phone calls a month. They were getting about 45 website clicks a month. That bumped up to about 95. Business profile views monthly jumped from about 700 to 2,300. Google search appearances, of course, bumped up massively alongside driving directions as well. For a more concrete picture, nothing shows it better than a local rank tracking grid. Before working with me, this was their rankings in, I believe this is a 100 square mile radius centered around their business profile location. Again, you could see quite poor. They're on page 2, 3, 4, etc. of the business profiles, not appearing at all. Now they're #1 across the board. Nobody can beat them. And if you just type in immigration law in New Jersey, you'll see they're #1 in the state too. They are the first business profile that appears with thousands of people searching every single month. These are leads that they were not getting before. And because they're inbound leads, they're a lot easier to close as well, as opposed to you running ads. That's why SEO is fantastic, because these people are searching, you are appearing, they already somewhat trust you because you are #1. So when it's time to meet with them and try to get them to close a deal, it becomes a whole lot easier. That was then. They have now since expanded to 4 new cities in 3 new states. Explosive growth, to say the least. Next is Vernston Law. Eric Vernston is an attorney in Rockford, Illinois. He used to be a former prosecutor, and he practices both family and criminal law. We took a look at the search volume, and there was a lot more searches happening for divorce attorney, family law attorney, that type of stuff. So we decided to prioritize that. And the results there have been fantastic as well. Again, what we did specifically for Eric is similar to what we did for Zach and Cruz Gold & Associates. We took a look at his business profile and we did a complete overhaul. We added the right categories, services, attributes, photos, posts. We answered some questions. And what we wanted to do was optimize for signal relevance for divorce and family law related keywords predominantly in Rockford. Again, we went hard on the local citation building to ensure that he had consistent NAP data across 80+ legal legal directories and local business sites. So that way Google can understand that this is a local business, they're real, they're not some fly-by-night operation, and he's out there. We also implemented another review generation strategy. This is again to make sure that there's a systematic process for earning genuine client reviews that it's going to build trust and also boost map pack rankings. And lastly, we also did develop on-page SEO and content that was specific to the types of cases that he wanted to pick up. So we're talking practice area pages targeting high intent keywords like divorce lawyer, Rockford, Illinois, child custody lawyer, alimony lawyer, things like that. Because these are searches that people who are looking to hire an attorney are actually searching for. They may not type in the word lawyer or attorney, but if they're looking at alimony, if they're looking at child support, if they're looking at how these things are distributed and calculated, it's a very high likelihood that they've either already hired an attorney or are about to. So if you can get in front of them and be top of mind when this happens, you're going to be the first person that they call. And this is exactly what happened with Eric, and the results again are fantastic. Before we started working together, this was his map pack rating. Again, this is about I think it's a 100 square mile radius centered around him. It might be slightly smaller than that, so forgive me if I'm wrong there. But regardless, he was not ranking very well at all. This is what his business profile was ranking like at every single coordinate in this sort of grid here. Definitely very poor visibility. Now he's number one across the board. So what happened here is his phone calls jumped from getting about 4 a month to about 50 a month. His Google website visitors jumped from getting 40 to about 156. Views skyrocketed from about 1850 to 9660, and search appearances went from 200 to 1,495 per month. This, of course, had a fantastic impact on his bottom line because he was signing and is still signing clients left, right, and center. You can hear it in his own words by going to my website and looking at the case study. Same way you can hear it from Zach, the one that I mentioned earlier. And you can also just see it by typing in divorce lawyer Rockford on Google. You'll notice that he's the #1 lawyer. It's really simple. We want to be appearing when people are searching. That's it. As I was telling you at the start of the video, these aren't the only firms that we've done this with. I'm going to go over another one just to prove to you that this is a repeatable system. Also, real quick, if you want to be the firm that your city actually goes to for your practice area and you'd rather have my team do all of this instead of you figuring it out yourself, click the first link in the description and book a call with me. We only work with one law firm per city, per practice area. So once your market's taken, it's gone. Now, let me show you the third case study. Another client that I've been able to do this for is Ticket Crushers Law. They're traffic ticket attorneys serving Sacramento, San Jose, San Francisco, and just generally California. Before they started working with me, they were spending about $50,000 a month on ads. I was able to replace the vast majority of that ad budget by just getting them ranking for the types of terms they were spending money on ads for already. I was able to get them from spending $50,000 a month down to $5,000 a month without impacting their bottom line at all, simply by getting them ranking #1 for the same keywords that they were instead paying large amounts of money for on a cost per click basis through Google Ads. The strategy here was similar to both Vernston Law and Cruz Associates as well. Ticket Crushers Law has multiple cities that they operate in and multiple business profiles, and as a result, each city got its own dedicated page. Every single profile had their own citations and their own review generation strategy. That way it was multiple markets, one system, all executed in parallel. We optimized every single Google business profile for location, categories, services, photos, posts, and we built a firm-wide review strategy. Nothing stops you from having multiple business profiles if you legitimately have them, and funneling all of your reviews from one metro to another where you're weak. Let's just say you have multiple offices, or you just created a new office and you're expanding, and you have a ton of reviews that are coming in from one city. You can just simply give the link to your new city that you're trying to establish and have people leave reviews there. It's a legitimate review for your business. There's no faking going on. Nothing is false. There's no false advertising. You legitimately help them. So as a result of that, when you expand, you can be smart about setting up a system that helps deliver reviews to where you need it the most. Because if you're already ranking decently well in one city and you want to expand and get your foot in the door into another one, you can use that as a kickoff point to bring up the weak points in the other cities. And that's similar to what we did here. We also had location-specific landing pages, again, targeting things like traffic ticket lawyer Sacramento. Everything had unique content, local signals, and it was conversion optimized layouts for each market as well. We cleaned up their technical SEO, on-page optimizations as well. Things like broken links, 404s, images that were too large, images that didn't have alt text tags and meta titles, stuff like that. And we built out a content strategy targeting traffic ticket queries across California. It was written to rank and convert, not just fill pages. For example, stuff like red light cameras, where they're being implemented and added, what the fines are, if you did get a fine, how we can help you. Stuff like that really moves the needle, because nobody wants blog or website visitors just for the sake of visitors. They want them because they want them to convert into leads, so that way their business continues to grow and thrive. And that's the same strategy that we used when we were coming up with our overall organic and content strategy. And we topped it off with strategic backlink building. We focus on high authority link acquisition in legal directories, local publications, and industry relevant sites to build domain authority to their main website, but split across all their locations. And as a result of that, they went from getting 1,200 organic clicks before per month to 4,800 organic clicks per month. And that is why they were able to stop spending all that money on Google Ads. They started ranking #1 for Traffic Ticket Lawyer San Francisco, for San Jose, for Sacramento. Before, this is what the rankings were like for Sacramento. Again, they were somewhat visible, but the real needle movement came when they got to #1, because it's not like you're gonna have a steady linear increase in leads as you get higher and higher. It's kind of like an all or nothing game, where the guys who are below, the top 3 aren't really getting much traction at all, and the guys that are number 3, 2, and 1 are getting all of the leads. That's why we were able to scale them so quickly and so efficiently, because they were ranking okay. They were 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th maybe. Now they're #1 across the board. That was for Sacramento. For San Jose as well, some of their locations were actually in the top 3 in certain places, but going from 3 to 2 typically doubles your leads, and going from 2 to 1 doubles them again. So they were getting 4 times more leads now, simply because they're #1 in Sacramento across the board, and San Jose, and similarly in San Francisco as well. Similar story. They were ranking 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, etc., and now they're #1. That's driving a whole bunch of traffic. You just type in Traffic Ticket Lawyer Sacramento, here they are. Traffic Ticket Lawyer San Francisco, here they are. San Jose, same thing. So if you've been paying attention, you've already spotted the pattern. It's been 3 different law firms, 3 different practice areas, 3 different markets, and we've had the same results every single time. Here's what was identical across all 3. The system is going to start in the same place every single time. Google Business Profiles, the top 3 when they appear, generally account for 61% of all clicks that are happening for any given search term. That's why it's very important that you optimize them, you clean up your citations, you boost your review velocity. And this is true whether the firm has been in business 30 years or 3. That's always step #1. From there, content is what scales. Every single one of these firms went from one location to dominating multiple locations all around them. And the way that it happens is you have to build dedicated city and neighborhood pages and content that is built around what paying clients are actually searching for. Like if you build out a whole bunch of informational content on how to do this, how to do that, you're going to attract a lot of people that are going to try to DIY it. And that's why you're not getting the type of leads that you want, even if you are getting website visitors. Another really important thing is that you have to stay consistent with the inputs, because they're going to compound like crazy. The same way you invest money every single month into the S&P 500, hoping that it compounds year after year after year and gives you gains, it's the same thing here. Every firm that ends up as #1 stayed consistent on reviews, stayed consistent on content and SEO for at least 3 to 4 months. The ones who quit at month 1 or 2 are never really going to get the outsized returns because they haven't even allowed for enough time to compound their efforts. And the best part about this whole system is that it's going to work no matter what type of practice you have. Divorce, immigration, traffic tickets, personal injury, we scale all of them in the exact same way. It's not a cookie cutter approach. It's the same principles that derive the same results irrespective of niche. If you want me to run this playbook for your firm, click the link in the description and book a call with me. I'll audit your firm and tell you exactly where you are and show you the path to becoming the firm that your city goes to. Here's how confident I am in the system. If your rankings don't increase, you don't pay. That's the guarantee. We only work with 1 law firm per city, per practice area. So if you want to be the firm that your city goes to, that link is how you grab your spot. Book the call and I'll see you in the next video.